What's up guys, this is Jay from Encounter Wargaming, and today we're going to be continuing our Relics of the Dark Age series by showing you guys, as promised, the supplement for the first edition of Warhammer. Alright, so here's the supplement to the Warhammer First Edition. So as you guys saw in the last one, it was just kind of the basic rules, how to develop characters, you know, dungeon battles, terrain features, different monsters you can encounter in your journeys, as well as being able to use it as a mass combat game. So now we're looking at still First Edition, but I guess they decided to expand on it. Let's open it up, see what it has to offer. Again with the bubble wrap, excellent, love it. So we've got here Forces of Fantasy, I guess showing you, so we've got the actual forces. I assume this is more like an early version of your army book or codex. Fighting fantasy battles, so I guess different scenarios for actually fighting mass combat battles. And arcane magics, so again I guess expanding on the magics book in the last one, also by Rick Priestley this time, not Richard, Rick, and Brian Ensell. So there they are, guys. Also, as always in Games Workshop fashion, as it's been since the beginning, it gives you all the summaries. So we've got combat to hit charts, to kill, saves, weapon bonuses, only one-sided I guess, the spells. There they are. Level 1, Alarm, Blessing. Level 3, Aura, Command, Invisibility. And, so I guess, gives you magic spells for each player. I guess who, the past owner of this laminated one of them. So good for you, buddy. It's awesome. And look at the advertisements back then. Clearly the guy cut out a coupon. Special offer! We hope you have enjoyed reading through this introductory Warhammer scenario, the Ziggurat of Doom. Awesome. We saw that Ziggurat of Doom in the last one. The last video I showed you guys. So, let's open up these books and take a gander, shall we? The Forces of Fantasy. Break it open. Volume 1. As you can see, still on a dot matrix printer, but quite a bit more detail and artwork than the very first one. I guess this is the expansion, right? So now they're trying to improve upon their existing foundation. Points values, that's something I didn't see in the other books. Regimental musicians, heroes and wizards. So now they're taking, I guess, what they've formed as a role-playing game to start, and now they're really showing you how to have mass battles. There was a little bit of ranking and stuff we saw in the books in the other set, but for the most part there wasn't really mass battle statistics and there was no point values I saw. It was more like individual encounters where like your wizard faces off against monsters in the dungeon or in the caves, or the Ziggurat of Doom or whatever. Men of the East. I guess that's the early stages of the Arabi storyline. Men of the North. Warriors and Bondsmen. Blah blah. Berserkers. Norsemen. Yep, so I guess that's the early Kislev stuff. Men of the Orient. Now, if you know this, but back in early stages of Warhammer, at this stage I guess, and later stages, which I have a few of the books and maybe I'll show you guys in future videos, but there was a faction of humans called Nippon, which I think is amazing. Check it out, this guy's got a swastika on his chest, that's wild. Which was not a Nazi symbol, by the way, originally, for those of you who don't know that. But yes, they called it Nippon because I believe Nippon is actually Japanese for Japan, which is awesome. So anyway, we've got Men of the West. Looks like Bretonia up here. Definitely. That same heraldry. All the way up to 5th edition fantasy, if I remember correctly. Dwarves. So yeah, basically, guys, here we've got like your army lists. I mean, you've got all your characteristics here. Or movement, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, wounds, initiative, attacks. So no armor saves. We've got armor, yes or no. Point value, 6 points, 8 points. Crazy. Gnomes, halflings. Am I missing a page there? Nope. Dark elves. Okay. In the last edition, they were called. I mean, in the last books, they were called night elves. So clearly, they've already started to evolve their storyline. High elves, sea elves. I guess they just absorbed those into the high elf fluff at later editions. Because I remember even in 6th and 7th edition fantasy, there was the Lothern Sea Guard or something like that, which were a special army of high elves. So I guess they just amalgamated them in. Wood elves, giants. Players may select any of 3 types of giants. Probably for any faction, like they've always been. Fallen giant. It's crazy. Out in past editions, they had a template for fallen giants. It's so funny. Goblins. The great goblins. The night goblins. Sweet. There you go. Fanatic. Amazing. Like I say, these are the roots, man. This is where it all comes from. Badass. Goblin shaman. All the little comical goblin buddies. Red goblins. That's interesting. And hobgoblins. Sadly, which got taken out of the game when Chaos Dwarves got taken out of the game. Orcs. Here we go. I guess that's the early stages of the wyverns. What do we got here? What does it actually say? Orc characters. Shamans. Yep. Wyvern Rider and the Wyvern. Chariot, Bolt Thrower, Stone Thrower. Cool. Lizardman. Troglodyte. Lizardman Warrior. Cold One Rider. And the Slan. Here we go. This is interesting. Palace Guard, Empire Soldier. The Frog People. Existed all the way up until Rogue Trader, and then for some reason they just totally trashed them, with the exception of the Slan Mage Priest. It's the only unit that has survived of the Slan. Chaos. Look at that chart. It's way bigger than any of the other ones were. Probably just from the variety of stuff you can take. Yeah, trolls, centaurs, hydras, griffins. Crazy. Skeletons and zombies. That's interesting. Chaos can take skeletons and zombies. And the undead. Skeletons, zombies, ghouls, wraiths. So I guess there's quite a bit of crossover. Because, I mean, in a fantasy world, like, really you can use anything. Generals would gather armies. Marauding monsters, ghostly hosts. Awesome. So yeah, that's basically your army book, guys. Before army books were army books. Next, fighting fantasy battles. Let's take a good look at this one, because these will probably be the actual rules and scenarios and things. Fighting a battle, mounted troops. Yep, we've already got deployment maps. Setting up your battlefield. Advanced rules, spider den. Cool. Deployment. Engines of war. Bolt thrower engines. Movement firing. Splat template. 1.25 inches that way. So that would be 2.5 templates, just slightly smaller than the current blast template. That's interesting. Current one being 3-inch diameter, that would be an 2.5 diameter, but that's pretty cool. 90-degree fire arc and bolt thrower. Fire arcs lasted for a while. I don't know if there's fire arcs in Sigmar anymore, but there only is in 40k with vehicles, as far as I know. Most of them are 45s, or yeah, 45s or 90s. Destroying fortifications, buildings, turn sequence, magicians, mounted troops, which I guess haven't been included in the other books. Mustering the army, collecting models for war games. Organization, tactics, and painting. So here we go, we're getting into the armies that they showed in the last book, and I guess it actually shows you how to build the armies. So we've got the Men of the West, Men of the Orient. This monster. Oh man, no wonder they worked a lot of this stuff out of there. People would freak nowadays. Men of the East, Norsemen, Dwarves. Same order as the last book. Awesome. Awesome. Let's just stare at that for a second. So old school. Shaded with ink and everything. It's crazy. Crazy that nowadays they're all hardcover, full-colored books. Going from this on a dot matrix printer with ink, black and white drawings. Dark elves, high elves, sea elves, just like the other book. Giants, gnomes, great goblins, red goblins, night goblins, hobgoblins, lizard men, orcs, slan, undead. Badass. Regiments of renown. I'm going to assume these are the Dogs of War. I guess the start of the Dogs of War. Because in future editions, they actually refer to the Dogs of War as Regiments of Renown, so I guess they're mercenaries that can be hired by enemy. Bugman's Dwarf Rangers, the Knights of Orgo, Grom's Goblins, so Grom the Paunch, awesome. There he is, fat guy, leather jerkins and trousers. Mengel Manhite's Company of Dark Elves. Black Mountain Boys. Mad Mullah Ackland's Death Commandos. There's an army I wish they never took out of Warhammer, the Araby. Just shows the diversity of humanity, you know? Just got rid of it for whatever reason. It lasted in War Master, that was the name of it, right? The epic scale one. I don't even know if anybody plays that game anymore, but anyway, there you go. All the scenarios for battles and stuff. And then we've expanded on the magic on the first set that I showed you guys in the last video. Has your basic rules for magic. And it looked like most of the spells were like reveal doors and find hidden items, so I guess the initial launch of Warhammer was meant as really a role-playing dungeon crawl kind of thing. And this supplement is allowing you to take it and turn it into a mass combat system. So we're introducing new magic items which weren't included in the other one. Enchanted bottles, jewels of power, rune dice, blessing potions, bloodlust potions, treasure. Wow. We're getting into like role-playing stuff now, eh? Monsters, genies. Look at this guy. Oh man, I love it. It's so good. Oh man. The 80s. What a great time. Hydras. Bam. Chaos Chariots. Oh, sorry, Chaos Chimeras. That would be a chimera there, right? The 3 animals in one thing. Balrogs. Balrogs. Wow. I'll bet those got taken out for copyright infringement. Infestations. There's your spell charts. Level 4 spells, necromantic spells. New spells that weren't in the other books, I suppose. Look at this guy. That's badass. Magical items. Random generation for magical items. Staffs, amulets. Crystallix. Magical weapons. Cool. Just love the artwork and stuff, guys. It's so awesome. Hope you guys like it too. Enhanced user profiles. Special attack modes. Abilities. Again, very role-playing. Those kind of elements of really kind of power weapons. That's not a coincidence. Blast of power, power blow, power unleashed. I wonder if they still call the charged weapons power weapons for that reason. Probably started as a magical item and they've just kind of went with it for 40k. Because remember guys, 40k was not even a dream at this point. It wasn't until 6 years from now, I guess, that they came out with Rogue Trader. So this is where it all started, guys. This is Warhammer. This is the original. Rune weapons. Cool. That's a cool piece of artwork. Guy's like about to pick it up, and the other guy's like, no, don't. So anyway, there it is, guys. The Forces of Fantasy supplement for the first edition of Warhammer. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to be coming back to you soon with some more Old Hammer stuff, so I'd just like to give a shout out to the Old Hammer community on Facebook, as well as the Middle Hammer community on Facebook. You guys are great. I love all your posts. I hope you guys have been liking these videos, and stay tuned for more old school awesomeness until our next encounter.
Like a monkey in a rocket on his way back home. Okay.